Why is Canada collapsing? Now, that may sound like an exaggeration, but this actually came from a heavily redacted report issued by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which warned that Canadians may end up revolting once they realize how poor they've become. And when we look at the state of Canada's economy, things are pretty bad. For starters, there's a housing crisis. I mean, unlike anything the country has ever seen. Canadians now spend more of their incomes on housing than almost any other country in the world. Between 1980 and 2020, housing prices in Canada rose by 746%, far outpacing the median household income, which grew by less than half of that. Then housing prices soared another 50% during the pandemic, leaving major cities like Toronto and Vancouver among the least affordable on earth. In fact, when we look at foreign investment, the amount of money leaving Canada for the U.S. is now approaching over $500 billion every year. On a more personal level, in 2012, Canada was actually richer than the U.S. on a GDP per capita basis. Today, Americans are nearly 60% wealthier than their northern counterparts. This economic stagnation has led to a near total collapse in public approval for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and opinion polls show that his party is set to lose in the largest landslide the country has seen in over 3 decades. So, what happened? How did Canada go from a country that U.S. politicians used to point to as a shining example of what America should look like to a nation now rocked by one economic crisis after another? And it's easy to blame Justin Trudeau for this mess. After all, nearly one of these disasters has unfolded under his watch. But the problem isn't just Justin Trudeau or any other single politician. It's also the mindset that got him elected. Millions of Canadians bought into a utopian vision of governance, believing that ambitious promises of widespread prosperity and social justice could be delivered through government edict without any practical trade-offs. A decade later, their disappointment is understandable, but the fact that millions have lost faith in their own government reveals a deeper truth about political promises and public expectations. As the economist Thomas Sowell once warned, the fact that so many successful politicians are such shameless liars is not only a reflection on them, it's also a reflection on us. When the people want the impossible, only liars can satisfy. It might be unpopular to point this out, but in representative governments like in Canada, political leaders are usually a mirror of what the public desires, however unrealistic those desires may be. And what's happening in Canada is not just the failure of a leader, but the disillusionment of an entire nation that's now coming to grips with the limits of what politicians can truly do through government power. Luckily, there is a way out of this mess, and it begins with the Canadian government getting out of the way and allowing its people to once again innovate, build, and live their lives without constant bureaucratic interference. But the reality is, in order for that to take place, the electorate has got to want it to take place and elect people that will actually do it.